After a thrilling offseason, the wait is finally over. The Charlotte Express and the Raleigh Flyers are set to lift the lid on the 2016 AUDL season. Former Callahan Award winner Jonathan Nethercutt leads the Flyers here at home on ESPN3 right now.
So I think this year is a lot different. Everyone's got that experience now. Everyone's got that extra bit of confidence making the Final Four. And so I'm just really excited to see how we can improve this year.
You go out there, you make a play, you sky somebody, you do something great, we win this game. Everybody's going to know about it.
Welcome to Cardinal Gibbons High School here in Raleigh, North Carolina for the first AUDL Saturday Showcase of 2016. A new season begins. As you can see, the Express and the Flyers had very different seasons last year, but there's a great reason to believe we've got a tremendous opening matchup tonight. And we welcome you to another season here in the AUDL. Delighted to have you with us. Evan Lepler with a new teammate, former Raleigh Flyer and North Carolina Ultimate legend Taylor Pope. And so much excitement in the air after just what was an incredible offseason. And tonight we start with the North Carolina rivalry. Two teams that like each other, but also don't like each other. And you know what that's all about.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a big brother, little brother complex going on here. But I expect to see both teams a lot more polished, both teams with something to prove. Raleigh Flyers coming up short in their playoff loss last year, and Charlotte really just looking to get some wins on the board.
Well, Charlotte is hoping to get off to a quick start tonight. Raleigh was a team that struggled early in games last year. We'll see if they've corrected that. Let's talk about the Charlotte Express for a second. They're led by a bunch of guys, but one of their captains is Micah Hood. And you can see the numbers from last year. He's a guy who's not going to be intimidated by anyone he's matched up against.
No, 220, fast as lightning, and he's really a triple threat. He can beat you underneath, he can, catch goals, and when the disc is in his hand, watch out. He's a dynamic thrower and really has a lot of confidence.
For the Raleigh Flyers, Jonathan Nethercutt was much more of a part-time player last year, mixing his dark side championship run with his professional debut, but now he's a captain of this team, ready to make his mark on the pro ranks.
Yeah, it seems like only yesterday he was, a wee thing, but now he's, he's grown into the leader that he is. He's really leading this team, and I know his team is excited to have him.
The Charlotte Express have launched the opening pull, and the Raleigh Flyers have the first possession of the new year. Underneath the Flyers offense, led by Justin Allen, looking deep for Ben Dieter and C.J. Colicchio, who was a Raleigh Flyer a year ago. In fact, that was Evan Howie who came up with a D, I believe.
And that's just a kind of an ill-advised shot by Tommy Lamar, new Flyer this year, but not a rookie out there. He's played a couple seasons with Ring. He should be a little more polished.
So Charlotte's D-line and wow. Jakeem Polk, a newcomer to the Express, very excited about, didn't run through Tommy Lamar, immediately making amends. It's Dave Snoke picking up the disc. He threw the first assist last year, and he's got the first one this year as well. Jarrett Bowen catches a score, and it's an opening hold for the Flyers.
You're going to see a lot of that with Raleigh, trying to score quickly from the front of the stack. They like to score from the front in a very short pass, few throws.
Well, it's year 5 in the AUDL, but it's year 2 for both of these franchises. The Flyers, the South Division champs, and they talked about how different a dynamic it is coming this year. They're the defending champs, and yet they're not the favorite, and they still have a lot to prove. Opening score from Snoke to Lamar. Dave Snoke with his first assist of the season. He had 29 assists in 12 games last year. New Flyer Ryan Sittler set to pull. Remember who threw the opening pull for the Flyers last year?
I do indeed.
You kept it in bounds. Congratulations.
A lot of pressure there.
Andrew Cohen centered it to Paul Weeks.
And there's Micah Hood.
First touch for Hood, number 24 in white. His throw is high and saved by the leaping Charlie Muniz, who is the leading assist man for the Express a season ago.
Looks like Raleigh's forcing middle here, trying to keep the disc in the middle of the field, prevent down the line throws.
Layout from Matt Bode, matched up with Noah Saul, and Bode turfs it. Saul with a quick pickup, and he'll center it to Tristan Green.
Raleigh's offense really built around fast, quick looks, fast movement. There's Hunter Taylor with a turnover.
Another chance for the Charlotte offensive line. Paul Weeks gains 15 yards.
Oh.
Up line, a tremendous layout D from Taylor. So now that's 2 times that Raleigh has turned it over, and the guy who made the mistake immediately got it back.
You love to see that.
So you were a member of the Raleigh Flyers D-line a season ago. Take me through the mindset of once you get a turn, what the goal is with the disc.
Well, we're looking to move it fast, get the disc centered, and then if someone's open deep, hit them. If not, we're working it underneath and just move the disc quickly. Stall count's very fast in the AUDL, and we're just trying to get it moving. Avoid getting trapped on the sideline.
Andrew Cohen draws the contact foul from Green. Cohen, 21 years old, on the UNC championship team last year, joining the Express. Guarded by another former dark side Tar Heel and Tristan Green. Now here's Weeks in the middle.
Paul Weeks, too. Very, very crafty thrower. Look for some good inside throws from him.
Here's Muniz. Grew up in Florida. Takes the deep shot to the end zone. And it's off the hands of the intended target, Ryan Workmeister.
Surprising no call there. It looked like it did hit him in the hands, but definitely some contact. Seeing some jitters from Raleigh coming out of the gate. Couple drops, couple easy turnovers.
Green lets it go. Muniz versus McAllister. And a slight misread for the Flyers. Muniz, low throw, saved by Weeks. Weeks, another former dark side member. Here's Bode. Weeks to Hood. Hammer, cross field, open man is there.
Great look. That's captain to captain right there. Shane Cisco on the receiving end of that. Beautiful hammer, wide open. There you see Raleigh with some chances there on offense, defensive offense, and couldn't capitalize. Errant throws, drops.
And Weeks saving the play with a layout catch to keep it alive.
And that connection is just going to be all day. Those guys have a lot of chemistry, a lot of history together. Shane Cisco is just always in the right place at the right time.
You see the new head coach of the Charlotte Express, Courtney Dellinger, talking with a happy Micah Hood. Score is 1-1. We show 1-0. We're tied at ones. That second point took just about 3 minutes off the clock. Justin Allen finished the season as a 60-60 guy last year when you factor in the playoff numbers. To the end zone and a one-handed snag from Jonathan Nethercutt. And the Flyers back up 2-1.
Charlotte playing very loose, pretty much backing the whole way down the field. They're going to need to apply some pressure underneath. It looks like they were very scared of the deep ball. Also looks like they got some guys playing both ways. Shane Cisco out there for multiple points in a row. That is difficult to do in this game.
You see the D-line getting ready to take the field. And here's the score. Bowitt lofting it up. And, people remember Nethercutt as the guy who was this guy who sat back and just launched deep shots to his dark side teammates in the college championships. With Raleigh, he might be more of a cutter, and he's got the athleticism to do that.
He does. He has a very good read for the deep ball. He has well-timed leaping ability, and I'd like to see him go downfield a little bit more this year. I think it's going to really pay dividends for the Flyers.
Last point took just 17 seconds.
Looks like Raleigh's forcing backhand here, trying to get him into a trap sideline. That is a loose mark.
Eunice takes a shot. Bode goes up. It's off his fingertips.
And that is a Philly versus Philly matchup there with Noah Saul and Matt Bode,
both
longtime friends.
Both Pennsbury High School guys. David Richardson led the Flyers in D's last year, and there's his first turnover of the season. It's important for Charlotte to stay close to Raleigh in the opening first quarter here.
Yeah, they were able to do that in most of their games against Raleigh last year. When a game comes out and as sloppy as it is right now, you really hope that Charlotte can keep it close and punch a couple in. Slowing the game down is definitely in their favor.
Up line, good snag. That's Cullen. Inside out, flick to the end zone.
Oh.
And Eunice dropped it.
A lot of jitters going on here. You hear the crowd yelling for both teams to stay in the game, get focused. You just like to see some completions at this point.
Play 4 12-minute quarters in the AUDL. Clock stops after a score and on timeout. If you score quickly, the game could last a few hours. If points last for a while and that clock runs, the game could be over in an hour and a half.
Yeah, I remember last year we saw some 30-point games.
Yeah. Hartzog laying out to sustain possession.
Everyone roots for that guy. No one works harder than Hartzog. You got to watch out for him, too. He's got a big body, and he's not afraid to use it.
Hartzog is
great look.
One of the guys in the preseason that has really impressed their head coach, Mike Denardis. Sittler to the end zone. Somehow it got there, but through the grasp of Hartzog, who thought there was contact, no call.
Looked like the wind maybe played a little bit on that Frisbee. Looked like it, set it up and then dropped it down quick. It's kind of a swirling wind out there. It'll be interesting to see how the teams react to it.
Charlotte will take a timeout. We'll stay right here as just over 5 minutes remains in the first quarter. You see Mike Denardis walking onto the field to talk to the Raleigh D-line, and Denardis has become an incredible ultimate statesman here in North Carolina. Courtney Dellinger on the other sideline talking to his offense. Typically, timeouts in the AUDL are called when the defense has the disc and want to get the offense back on the field, but here just a long point. Try to talk it over and settle things down.
Yeah, it looks like both teams really having a hard time hitting their stride at this point, and it's not for lack of effort. You see both teams are working hard out there, but it's windy, and both teams are seemingly getting used to that.
Raleigh especially, a very high-scoring team last season, and Courtney Dellinger played at Junior Worlds twice as a player, long-time Charlotte resident. There's Ed Fox, who's the offensive assistant on this team, the guy that threw the first ever score for the Charlotte Express as a 53-year-old handler last April. Now on the sidelines, he's been coaching for about 30 years at Charlotte Latin High School.
Introduced a lot of key players to the game. Patrick Hard, Rhett Nichols, both who went on to win national championships for NC State. Just a true leader in the sport, and happy to get him in this position.
Charlotte has out of the timeout. Cisco looking long for Bode. Will it hang up? No. Bode with a good bid, but not enough float on that flick from Cisco.
A bit of a left to right wind with those flicks. It's really going to push that disc down just a little bit.
Saul hits Richardson. the line, Clark. And another drop.
This is really playing into the favor of Charlotte. They need to keep this game close. They need to slow it down, keep the energy low, punch these in when they get the opportunity.
Wood able to find a reset with a high stall count. Centered for Workmeister. Now Stone to Hood.
Uh-oh.
Breaking deep was Cisco. And Hood hit him. Charlotte ties it up as the captains connect again.
It's really impressive how fast Shane Cisco is. Micah Hood knows when he has just a little bit of separation, he's going to be able to get out in front and good concentration. It looks like D-Rich got a little piece of that, as you know, you see D-Rich come up with a lot of Ds that look just like that and go the other way.
Well, there's such familiarity between the players on these two teams. And a great matchup. It looks like Richardson did get a fingertip on that disc.
All players in that play played together in October last year, and it's fun to see them battle out in this venue.
8 minutes, we've had just 4 scores. Typically average close to about 1 score a minute. Around 46, 47 goals per game is generally the average. Obviously the weather impacts that, the skills of the offense and the defense.
I would say that both teams just playing a little tight right now. The team that settles in first is really going to have an advantage in this early go.
Looking high over the top, Nethercutt does not have room to make the play.
I think the wind is playing a little bit of a factor. A lot of these throws getting a little bit of lift, and if they're not wide open, they're getting D'd or they're going out of bounds.
Jesse Lieberman, a laser flick to Fairfax. Stone, center. This
that's a Callahan.
Justin Allen unable to plant that foot in the end zone, but he will pick up the assist. Allen to Casey. Raleigh leads 3-2.
Just a miscue there on that dump throw, and Evan Howie knew right when it went over his head that could be a goal. Yeah, there you see that disc just kind of floating over his head, and I'm surprised that wasn't a goal.
Very nearly a Callahan. And Allen with a big pivot. Justin Allen last year grew into a star, but he also needs to refine himself. I was chatting with Dave Snoke, who's sort of the ultimate veteran, much like yourself. And he said, you know, guys like Justin Allen, Terrence Mitchell, they're learning that there are a lot of good players out there. And if they want to be truly great, they got to refine their fundamentals and learn how to play at that very top level.
Yeah, those are two great examples of guys with a very high ceiling, but also a very low floor. When they're playing great, sky's the limit. But when they, start to have a couple mistakes, they can compound and they can really sort of get down on themselves just a little bit. And it's great to see Justin Allen make that play.
Fantastic pull right by the front pylon on the sideline, where Charlotte began this possession.
There you go.
Leads to a layout D. Noah Saul making plays. Saul to Green for the score in the first break of the game.
And when you give Raleigh a short field, you're just begging to get the score run up on you. That feeds into their energy. They're really good in the short field, scoring those from the front of the stack. And just look, you're not going to see them making lots of cuts from the back of the stack. It's just all from the front. Great D by Noah Saul.
And the play began with the defense from Saul, who played his college ultimate at North Carolina. A guy who has really grown into becoming one of the top players in the state. I think a guy who's gradually getting more and more respect.
Yeah, I remember playing against Noah Saul. Gosh, it's been maybe 7 or 8 years. He was playing for Roots of Rhythm, and this was back for Ring of Fire. And we played against them at regionals, and they it was early in the tournament. They took us pretty far into the game, and I know after the game ended, everyone was through with their handshakes and walking up to him, trying to get him to play for us next year.
You didn't want to have to guard him in it.
That's right. That's right. That was Roots of Rhythm.
See if Charlotte can respond. Eunice marked by Allen.
You just look at Charlotte's stack. They're really compact. They're just begging for that D.
Taylor gets horizontal. Another cut to Saul, to Allen.
Yeah. One of the things they talk about with this game is how big the field is, and they talk about how easy that is for the offense. But when you have these long cuts and these long space throws, you really give athletes like Hunter Taylor an opportunity to close on their man. And in a foot race like that, all you need is a step to where you can get the inside track, and you're going to see lots and lots of Ds. Makes for an exciting game, but means you have to make sure that angle is right and that separation is real.
Back-to-back breaks for the Raleigh Flyers. And on your D line to have Nethercutt hit Saul to hit Allen. There's the D from Taylor.
You need Micah Hood to just really get his body in front of that disc. He kind of gave up the inside track just a little bit.
Justin Allen looking around for someone to stare at him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Another gigantic pull back in the end zone, center to Bode. What's the mindset of the offense here? They've been broken 2 times in a row.
I'm sure they're just looking to keep the disc moving in the middle of the field. They're going with a spread look here.
Somehow that got through, but it was too far out of the reach of Jeff Nordgren.
Looks like we have a player down.
Middle of the field. And it's Charlie Muniz who's up on his feet, but looks a little shaken up.
Charlotte really settling for a tough look there. That inside flick deep. You really want to see the receiver catch in space and break the mark with an around backhand. That's going to have a much higher percentage. Let's see what Raleigh does here. That's Noah Saul, captain to captain. Another cut. There's Hunter Taylor. No one around him.
People on Twitter are saying that they can hear Taylor, but they can't hear me. People are saying that my mic is not working. It is deflected and falls incomplete. Closing in on 1 minute to play here in the first quarter. Charlotte desperate to find some momentum. He had to release it to beat the stall, and Raleigh will take over.
They just
To the sideline, hammer over the top. What a shot!
left him wide open there.
Nethercutt with another goal.
Jonathan Nethercutt just came all the way from the handler spot. No one picked him up. When you're playing defense there, you got to look, see who the last back is, and last back has to have their heads up, ready to pick up that streaker, and they just let him go.
Second score for Nethercutt. And the Flyers have scored 4 in a row. Noah Saul with his 3rd straight assist.
We have yet to see some good offense. We're seeing some good throws, some great layout Ds, but neither team has really established an offensive consistency yet or an offensive efficiency at all. Really like to see them get the disc moving side to side, taking their time and punching it in when they get close. Seems like Charlotte is having no trouble moving it down the field, but then once they get within 20 or 30 yards out of the end zone, they're looking to take an away shot, and that's just not the recipe for success against the Flyers.
Charlotte trying to regroup. They're able to hold on the first couple offensive points. It was 2-2 at the 4:01 mark, but in the last 3.5 minutes, Raleigh has held once on offense and collaborated for 3 straight breaks.
And I had my keys to the game for Raleigh, confident offensive movement, energy, and defensive offensive efficiency. They're establishing that right now. Charlotte, for Charlotte, the plan is to slow the game down, protect against the deep ball, and minimize short field turns. They are not doing that.
Raleigh getting ready to play defense. Once again, Green, Clark, Hartzog, Coleman, Allen, and Bender. Even Bender was the Flyers' team MVP in the season opener last year. He was everywhere against Atlanta. A game that Raleigh fell behind in, but came back to win the inaugural game for the franchise. Another gigantic flick pull from Allen. And it will sail out of bounds impressively about 90 yards from where it released it, but it is a net pull of about 60 because they'll get it 20-yard brick mark.
I worry about that kid's elbow every day with that flick pull. You mentioned Steven Bender. I just love to see a guy like that who works so hard. He attends every practice, puts all the work in, and to see him accomplish his goals is just a great feeling.
Break down Raleigh's defense here for us.
It looks like they got a little bit of a shell, trying to get the Charlotte team trapped on the sideline. And you see, once they break it, they're off to the races. But
Disco, that has been the connection for all 3 Charlotte scores.
Matt Bode, a little quiet so far to start this game. They've taken some looks at him, but he's had a hard time bringing it in, and the defensive pressure on him, they've not allowed him to get into a rhythm at all. Shane Cisco in a rhythm at this point. Micah Hood.
Like those 2 guys have played together forever. Cisco played his college ultimate at ECU. Micah Hood at Appalachian State. And it was that throw up the line from Cohen that really opened things up against the shell junk defense.
Short pull for Charlotte here.
You can hear me? Final seconds of the first quarter. Nethercutt, laser beam, defended, and a huge fall for Polk. Good to see him pop back up as he gets his first D in the AUDL. A guy that showed up at express tryouts and shocked everyone with his athleticism. There's a taste of that. We'll take the timeout. 1 down, 3 to go in the opening game of the season. The Flyers double up the Express, 6-3 in the first.
Early recognition is critical. Teaches middle school PE classes about ultimate Frisbee and cancer symptom awareness.
We're a registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a Frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We teach kids that playing fair is more important than winning.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
Ultimate Frisbee is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Teachers and parents love Ultimate Frisbee. We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
Imagine you're in a new town for a couple of days, and you find yourself wanting a bike. Use Spin Lister to rent any kind of bike in your area in over 55 countries. Have an unforgettable adventure while saving up to 40% on rentals. And whatever you do, don't forget to enjoy your ride. Rent a bike today or list your own to start making money and connecting with awesome people.
Raleigh in front 6-3 after one quarter of action here in the season opener for the Southern Division. Raleigh won this division, winning a dramatic double overtime title game against the Jacksonville Cannons last July, a game that many thought Jacksonville was the better team in, and Raleigh got a little lucky. You were there, and I think the Flyers realized that they got a little fortunate in that one.
I think every member of the Flyers would have told you when Catrone had that disc in his hands that the game was over, but twist of fate, we were able to punch it in with, I think, 2 seconds on the clock and send it to overtime, and some good offensive holds. And Raleigh, you might say they got lucky, you might say they just never gave up, but it was definitely an exciting game. I think they just need to settle in. They have open players. They're just taking shots to the end zone. They need to really get it close, get it inside Raleigh's brick, and then punch it in. And you see the athleticism of Raleigh here. They are just more than content to front Charlotte. He's had some shoulder issues dating back to last year. I think he's been finally healthy this preseason. I hope nothing major, just a bump. I'll tell you what, I have gone up against D-Rich many times at practice, and he is as agile as he is solid, and you get to see both right there. That's just a great example of Raleigh really fronting hard on Charlotte. Charlotte thinks they're open deep, and they're just not. See some Raleigh defensive offense. He's got it. Funny story about Hunter Taylor. First time he came to Raleigh, actually trying out for Ring, he slept in his car the night before tryouts, woke up and just wowed everybody, fastest time, and just leaping out of the building like Superman. He didn't tell anyone he was coming. And that's what Charlotte needs. They need to have a couple breaks go their way, get Bode involved, and score when they have the chance. As rough going as it has been for the Express, this game is very much still within reach. that was just an excellent read by Justin Allen. That disc was popping up and down. Allen got underneath it, had his man boxed out, went up with the left hand, I believe, and made a nice grab on that. You know, he's one of those guys, you just knew that the potential was always there. Supremely athletic. I don't know how his body bends in the way that it does. Every time he makes a play, you kind of hold your breath and hope that he's going to get up. But he's incredible. It was big, that's for sure. I'm sure Nethercutt wanted that to not hang quite as much, but it got the job done.
Here, a roller pull that's going to trap Charlotte on the sideline.
Now the key here is to have, let's see, Jake Coleman and Michael Neve, they do not want to let that disc go to the dump. And you see Micah Hood just kind of get out into space. If they can launch a hammer to Micah, this defense is going to be off to the races. And there it is.
They give up about 25 yards, but able to get the reset. And then the throw slicing the Muniz in the middle. And the contact foul goes against Neve. One of the biggest surprises for the Flyers last year. They came on strong, was basically the 7th option of the offensive line late in the season, but there's a turnover from Charlotte. Raleigh looking for another break.
You mentioned Michael Neve. He is as steady as they come, and nobody works harder, maybe except Stephen Bender.
Drop from Taylor.
Raleigh playing loose, just trying to let their defense get set. And there's Micah Hood. He's going to launch it.
Hood looking for another assist. Cisco again. That's the 4th time that Hood has hit Cisco for the score here in the opening half of the season.
And you see Raleigh there just not really getting into their defensive set, playing a little bit passive. That can be a problem when you come down with a junk look and then you have a turnover and then you have to play D again. If you've been set to play that junk look and now all of a sudden you have to play man, it's hard to get everyone on the same page. And you saw right there, let Shane Cisco leak into the backfield, and when he does that, Micah Hood's going to hit him.
Hood has been on target. Cisco has been reliable. Now can the Express come up with a D? They'll have to do it from the brick mark as Nethercutt will commence the possession. From the center of the field, 20 yards from the front of the end zone.
Look for a decoy cut here from Terrence, and then they're going to try to hit Dieter on this under. I can almost guarantee it.
Allen from the front of the stack racing deep. And they hit Bowen in the open side.
Yep.
Looking long, and it's up. Second D of the game for Jacob Fairfax.
Once again, another same third field throw. You know, they're on the flick sideline, trying to throw a flick down the line. Defense has an angle.
Here's Stone.
Charlotte really needs this point bad.
They get it. They're back within 1.
You really want to see them just work it down, not take that shot that they've done each time they've gotten this close.
Taylor Minch gets the reset to Stone. John Stone led the Express with over 500 completions last year.
Polk creeping around in the backfield. Looks like they're trying to find a way to hit him.
That disc up in the air and it doesn't float long enough. Not sure Polk was the intended target there.
Oh, yeah.
Nethercutt without a mark.
Surprising holster there. Great 40-yard under by Ben Dieter. We've always called that the man's cut. Bend eater, open side, under, out, and then back in. Huge gain.
I understand we've had some audio issues working out the kinks in the season opener. We apologize for the difficulties. Just like players occasionally drop the disc, we occasionally misconnect the wire, but the Flyers, no miscommunication there as they come up with a hold to make it 8-5.
Really hoping the voice of Ultimate is coming through loud and clear now.
Well, I think this is a karmic way of the equipment saying we want less Lepler and more Pope. 7:19 to go in the second quarter. You wonder where the Charlotte Express would be without Micah Hood and Shane Sisco in this game, because that duo has connected for 4 out of Charlotte's 5 goals. Meanwhile, Raleigh has been much more balanced, and the D-line retakes the field for the Flyers.
And that's just top-down leadership for the Express. You know, you want to see your captains, you know, in a big game, scoring and making plays. And, you know, that's great to see. They do need some other contributions, though, because this game is long.
More than 2.5 quarters to go.
Charlotte needs to hit that swing. They are not moving the disc side to side.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bode's first look was long,
right,
trying to make the play rather than trying to move the disc.
There he goes. See?
Noah Saul comes up with a layout D again.
Bad example of doing the right thing and having the wrong result.
Saul's fingerprints all over this first half here at Cardinal Gibbons. Saul to the end zone through the hands of McAllister.
Up in the booth, we can't really feel the wind, but it seems like those discs are taking some funny hops and it's causing a lot of gacks.
Would have been the 4th assist for Saul. Here's Hood marked by Richardson.
And you see Richardson put the straight up mark on Hood right away, and he saved a deep shot. There's Shane again.
Bode looking for Sisco, going 1-on-2. And the Flyers duo defends it.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 5 times.
Saul initiates play to Richardson. Jake Coleman. Backhand was deflected, and it falls incomplete. Nearly a great save from Clark. Again, Bode will initiate.
Just no offensive movement. You see, they get the swing. The only cut is on the open side. There you go.
Once they get it going.
Guess who it is?
Hood to Sisco. Have we seen that before?
You see Micah there just holding up the full hand. That's 5.
Counting his stats as he goes along, although it's pretty easy when he's thrown all but 1 of the goals so far. Why is Raleigh having so much trouble stopping Shane Sisco?
That's a tough question. He is lightning fast, but more than that, he has incredible timing. One of my favorite guys to throw to, he just always seems to be making the cut, not when you get the Frisbee, but when you're ready to throw. He's got that separation. And, you know, for a lot of aspiring Ultimate players out there, being too early is just as bad as being too late. And for a guy like Shane Sisco, he just really has it figured out.
Well, Shane Sisco never got to play college Ultimate with Ben Dieter, but Dieter was a huge mentor to him when Ben was a grad student at ECU practicing with the team. And there's an underneath D from Charlotte's CJ Colicchio.
All of that whole irate community is just so tight. You know, more than any other group, I think those guys hang out and you know, the generations they span on with that team.
Charlotte could get back within 1 right here. McSherry gives it back to Cooper.
There you go.
Cross field for Howie. This could be a pivotal moment here in the second quarter. Cooper played for the Flyers last year. And there was contact downfield, perhaps a pick. And Charlotte is going to take a 10-yard penalty. This portion of the field, that's not a killer by any means.
If anything, sometimes it gives you a little bit more room to operate.
One thing it does do, though, is interrupt the flow.
Yeah.
Terrence Mitchell's been quiet so far. He played tons of offense last year. Played some more points today, but he was not among the starting offensive 7 for Mike Denardis. Looking for Nethercutt. Used his body to block out Sam Cooper. Come up with a sky and then shoots it to Dieter in the end zone.
And that's just a beautiful throw by Nethercutt. Takes his time and steps into the throw and makes a great backhand. You see a lot of players in that situation. They see the open guy and they really rush the throw. There, Nethercutt just stepped into that backhand and put enough zip on it where it just sat in the wind for Dieter to run underneath.
First assist of the game for Nethercutt to go along with a couple goals. And you can just see the smarts of Nethercutt here, sizing up the disc with his body before he went up to get it.
And those are the opportunities that Charlotte really needs to capitalize on. They get the disc in a short field and a couple swings, they're right on the goal line and float one just a little bit too high and allow the Raleigh defender to make a play. They need to utilize the width of this field. They are stuck over there in that corner.
There was a whistle before the throw. Muniz thinks it's on the defense. Allen thought it was on the offense.
I think Allen wants him to walk it up there, but Muniz was already stepping. Get the disc long. There. Oh.
Nobody there. Wow.
That was just a miscommunication.
Well, that's the idea of what they want to do, right? And timeout called by Tristan Green. The Flyers will possibly bring the offense back onto the field. Trying to close out this first half strong. 9-6 Raleigh in front of Charlotte as we open the 2016 AUDL season. Evan Lepler alongside Taylor Pope, who's been to every club nationals as a competitor since 2003. Debuted as a mid-30s AUDL player last year. And what was the experience like as a guy who's been playing so long at the club level, at the highest, at several semifinals, several quarterfinals, to make the transition to the wider field, the referees, take us through your progression of the season is how you got comfortable.
Well, it was a dream come true, to say the least. Getting to play in front of my hometown, my chosen hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina. Such a great Ultimate community, such a history of Ultimate. I know a lot of guys who played before me would have loved to have that opportunity, and I'm glad I played long enough to get to experience it once. And you never know. You may get out there again. We'll see.
Coming off a little minor knee surgery, you feeling close to normal?
It's amazing. As soon as I got that little clean out, all of a sudden it felt like a huge weight was lifted from my knee.
Like 10 years younger.
There we go.
Out of the timeout. Nethercutt hit Dieter, looking for Allen. What a catch.
Yeah, that's a great catch by him. Lots of concentration. Trailing edge, really grabbing the back of the Frisbee. That is a tough grab. Great hands by Justin Allen.
Not the first spectacular play that Allen has made today.
You really like to see Allen bounce back. Had a rough go in the playoff game last year against Madison. More than a few drops, unfortunately, but here he is right out of the gate on fire, making some spectacular grabs, deep, spectacular grabs in traffic. That is a highlight level play right there. Great catch by Justin Allen, and many, many more of those to come.
Looking for someone to celebrate with after a sensational horizontal score.
And just like that, it's 10-6. You know, I was about to say with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, you know, if you had told me the score was going to be 9-6, I would have thought Charlotte, you know, was really battling and having a great game. But they are lucky to find themselves in a game that's 10-6.
Yeah, it's true. Sure, it feels like Raleigh could be up by more. Again, without Hood and Cisco, they would be. Stone out of the reach of Workmeister.
Just didn't look like he stepped into that throw. Kind of threw a little bit standing up. I know he wants that one back. Usually very consistent with that flick.
Raleigh takes another timeout. Its second and final timeout here in the first half. We'll take it to...
Travelers have always come to Motel 6 for great service and the lowest price of any national chain. Now we're renovating nationwide with a fresh, modern look, so you'll see us in a whole new light. I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Imagine you're in a new town for a couple of days, and you find yourself wanting a bike. Use Spin Lister to rent any kind of bike in your area in over 55 countries. Have an unforgettable adventure while saving up to 40% on rentals. And whatever you do, don't forget to enjoy your ride. Rent a bike today or list your own to start making money and connecting with awesome people.
It's back on the field. Nethercutt has Saul closest to him. Brian Casey, the away handler. Downfield, Dieter, Allen.
Charlotte loaded up a defense here. They really need this stop. Keep them in the game going into half. Raleigh very much a second half team. Charlotte needs to make something happen in the waning moments of this first half.
Lefty release from Nethercutt, and pass interference is going to be called. Yeah. Bode went up, trying to get Saul to rule integrity rule, and those two old friends getting reacquainted. Saul picks up another assist, and Raleigh has its largest lead of the night. Jarrett Bowen in the end zone makes it 11-6.
Relatively good composure there from Matt Bode. That's a tough play. You know, that disc is floating in the air. I don't think Noah had a chance at it, to be honest. I don't think Noah's jump was really impeded much by Matt's defensive play. So it is hard to know in that moment what a foul, you know, when you're being fouled and when you're not. I know they're over there discussing, you know, whether or not he thought it was a foul, but when the ref makes a call, it's hard to go the other way.
There's Dave Snoke and Mike Donardis, two of the elder statesmen in the North Carolina Ultimate community. The game is back. We're still looking at Snoke and Donardis. Charlotte, another crucial giveaway as Weeks and Hood could not connect. Richardson in the end zone. Raleigh on a roll here at home. That happened fast.
Let me see that D again.
So David Richardson picks up his first goal of the 2016 season.
You know, if you watch that play, you see Paul Weeks throw the backhand. A lot of times the cutter's expecting a flick, and that backhand comes out with a little bit different spin, a little bit different angle, is not angling in toward the body. You see a lot of players these days, they feel like they can get the backhand off a little bit quicker than the flick, but you know, at what loss of, you know, really just bending that disc into the cutter. I think there's a little bit of a give and take there. That is a bomb of a pull. That might split the uprights.
And that will soar out the back of the end zone. 94 seconds remaining in the first half. The Express needs something good to happen in that span.
This half, these last 3 minutes have really gotten away from Charlotte. And there we go. There's
looking to strike quickly. Hood seeking Cisco. Too much.
Had the separation that he wanted. I think Hunter Taylor knew that disc was a little bit too far. Peeled off pretty early. Saved some energy. Let's see if the Raleigh D can convert here.
Now, take me through the mentality of a D-line player on this point, minute to go in the half. Are you trying to bleed all the time from the clock and then score at the buzzer, like take the last shot in a basketball game, or are you trying to score as quickly as you can, as naturally as you can?
I think for the D-line, they're definitely trying to work the disc down and score. There's not a lot of time savings. I think when you get down and you're inside the opponent's brick, you may take a look up at the clock, but until you're really within 10 yards, you're trying to eat up as much real estate as you can and get down the field.
Sittler launches. Taylor in the end zone. What a shot that was. Ryan Sittler in his Flyers debut drops the dime with 27 seconds left in the half.
Hunter Taylor is a beast of a man. In his spare time, he does a lot of rock climbing, just incredible core strength, incredible hands, incredible connected leaping ability. And you've seen him make some Ds. He made that grab look effortless.
Bo did all he could with a bid. The Flyers have scored 5 in a row to transform an 8-6 score into a 13-6 rout here in the first half.
It'll be interesting to see how Charlotte responds. They need to stop the bleeding in this first half, even if it means just controlling the disc and almost letting time get close to expiring before taking your shot. I do not want to see them have a quick turnover here because they're trying to play fast.
And basically, Charlotte has the D-line out here on offense. Evan Howie with just under 20 seconds to go. Stone to the middle for Lieberman. Here's Howie. Crossfield hammer. That'll work. Colicchio, or again, make it Fairfax in the end zone. And the D-line looking pretty smooth on offense for Charlotte.
I think Hunter Taylor wanted that one back. I think he thought he maybe could make a play on that and held up.
I think they've certainly opened up a little bit more here in the second quarter.
And this is a time, too, where Charlotte just has to remember, this is a long game. There are going to be runs. They just need to inch back into this game, not try to make anything happen all at once. There's no two-pointers in this game. You got to get one at a time.
13-7 is the score. The scorebook is wrong. And there was some violation after the score, giving Charlotte an extra 10 yards here as they pull.
I don't think Raleigh was set on the line when they needed to be.
Nethercutt is going to launch. This is going to have to go about 100 yards in the air to get to the end zone, and it's going to fall short. And really Charlotte D's it up at the buzzer.
Surprised he went flick there. Backhand by far being the bigger throw. Maybe the wind playing a factor. Felt like he could hang it up in the air a little bit. Really surprised he didn't throw a backhand there.
Mason Gardner comes up with a final D of the first half, and the Charlotte Express go to the locker room having scored the most recent goal, but it was a 5-0 run late in the second quarter from the 5:03 mark basically to the 25-second mark, taking this game by the horns, and they lead by 6 at the half. Raleigh 13, Charlotte 7. Halftime here in the AUDL opener on ESPN3.
Early recognition is critical. Teaches middle school PE classes about ultimate Frisbee and cancer symptom awareness.
We're a registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a Frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We teach kids that playing fair is more important than winning.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
Ultimate Frisbee is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Teachers and parents love Ultimate Frisbee.
We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
Imagine you're in a new town for a couple of days, and you find yourself wanting a bike. Use Spin Lister to rent any kind of bike in your area in over 55 countries. Have an unforgettable adventure while saving up to 40% on rentals. And whatever you do, don't forget to enjoy your ride. Rent a bike today or list your own to start making money and connecting with awesome people.
It's a beautiful night for Ultimate here in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Flyers lead the Express 13-7 in the season opener. We welcome you back to Cardinal Gibbons Stadium. Evan Lepler, very pleased to be joined by the commissioner of the AUDL for the second year in a row. We begin the season in Raleigh, and I know it's got to feel pretty gratifying for you to be entering year 5 of this league. What does it feel like to watch things here tonight develop?
Evan, it's awesome. You know, this is, as you just said, it's year 5. It's been 4 years for us now. 3 years full that we've had, obviously, with ESPN. This is the third opener that we've done together as well, too. So going to 26 teams this year, we've seen a lot of movement of players from some franchises to others. You know, obviously we've added Dallas and Austin, and Dallas obviously is making big waves. So there's just a lot of excitement around the league right now and a lot of fun.
You are one of the point people for inviting new owners in, doling out expansion teams, and that process is very complicated. But when Dallas was awarded a team and Jim Garansert was the owner, did you anticipate this kind of opening salvo from him in the offseason?
Well, I don't know if anybody could have said that they would have expected it. Jim is a free spirit. You know, he's a guy that if anybody was going to do something like this, it would be Jim. I think it creates a lot of excitement for the league right now, and there's a lot of talk about it, and that's nothing but positive.
What has this past offseason been like for you in terms of dealing with the day-to-day business to get things ready for opening day?
Like all off seasons, you know, there's a lot of the business side that takes place in the off season. Everybody sees the part where players are signing and all those types of things, and that's a lot of excitement for the fans. Behind the scenes, there's insurance issues and music licenses and all those kinds of things that a lot of people don't really want to hear about. But it's a big part of not only creating the kind of experience that we want, but making sure that the foundation is solid as well.
Well, there's obviously a lot to be excited about. The league is larger than it's ever been with 26 teams, and people want to know the health of this league. Where are we going, and is it stable? And you're the person who can address that. So what's sort of the state of the league right now for the long term?
Well, I think you just used the right word. It certainly is stable. It's everything that we had hoped that this league would be. It takes time to develop, and certainly we're on that curve right now. Mm-hmm. So where we are in the life cycle, we're right where we want to be. It's going to be a few more years before we get to where we want to, obviously. But that said, we're just happy to be, like I said, right where we want to be.
Obviously, there's time involved, continuing to attract new fans to the sport and create awareness. And every day, whether it's the San Diego Growlers showing up and playing a game on the ice, of the San Diego Gulls out there in the AHL, I think that was, or the Chicago Wildfire doing work in the community. People are getting gradually exposed to this sport. Aside from that, what are the types of things that you do from a business side to try to grow this league?
Well, when you say to grow the league, a lot of it is more organic at the team levels. Mm-hmm. It's coordinating a lot of the effort that a lot of the teams are doing, it's also taking a lot of the ideas that some of these teams have. We don't have all the ideas. In fact, the majority of them really come from a lot of our real creative owners that the rest of us then share in, and we try to take advantage of not only the good things that we've done, but learn from the things that haven't been successful as well. So those meetings continue on, and the owners have become closer and closer, and as that happens, it gives us at the league level a lot better chance to do kind of the collective things that we want to do as well.
There are 26 teams in the league right now. It's as large as it has ever been, and 4 very healthy divisions that'll be competitive from top to bottom throughout the season. But I know you've said you'd like to see the league at 30 or maybe 32 teams. Is the process of expansion ongoing?
It is absolutely ongoing, but certainly at different speeds. At different times. We took off very rapidly there for a couple of years, and certainly, as you said, our goal is to be at about 32. That's what we think is kind of the sweet spot as of right now. So that said, we're getting closer to that. So obviously, we're not going to have the same growth that we did. But it is an ongoing process, and part of that process is identifying as we learn new things and achieve new things, finding owners that fit that dynamic movement as well, and as we get bigger and better, owners that fit that model make a lot more sense. So it's an evolving process, and one that's just a ton of fun.
We're chatting with the commissioner of the AUDL, Steve Gordon, here at the Raleigh Flyers Charlotte Express season opener. Raleigh leads 13-7 at the half, and one of the co-owners of the Raleigh Flyers started out as a player for you in Chicago, Casey Degnan. When he told you that he wanted to buy an ultimate team and take charge and spearhead things in Raleigh, what was your first thought?
No surprise. That's Casey. Actually, a great story. Casey was actually the first person I ever signed, first player. Mm-hmm. So, and as many people know, I didn't have an ultimate background, so Casey was a big part of the base of what I started to do. He was a big part of attracting a lot of the players to the Wildfire at that point, too. We were actually laughing out here just a moment ago because it's so windy out here. It just kind of reminds us both of home. So,
that's right.
But yeah, so he's been an integral part, and when he decided to purchase this team, the franchise in this city made a lot of sense for where he wanted to be. Obviously, Mike DeNardis, Troy Revel, people like that were a big part of that decision as well, and those guys collectively as an ownership group have done a tremendous job.
Well, we're all building up to championship weekend. It'll be in early August in Madison after a great trip to San Jose last year in Toronto, and you expect Tim DeBile and the Madison Radicals to put on a pretty good show at Breeze Stevens?
I do, yeah. Certainly Tim is the marketing guy that he is, and somebody that I trust implicitly. It's one of the reasons, amongst many, that we're in Madison. I'm hoping that someone else from the Midwest comes into Madison and plays, but all kidding aside, their franchise, their operations, their city, the infrastructure, everything just made a lot of sense for where we were coming off of Avaya Stadium last year. We made a big splash, made the statement that we wanted to make, and now getting back to something that's as solid as it can be, and there's nothing more solid than we have in Madison.
There was so much that I was left in awe over a championship weekend last year, but the AUDL Spirit Challenge, raising money for charity, I think about $750,000 raised. Did you imagine it would be that big?
The easy answer is no. That was more the product of Rob Lloyd than it was myself. Rob spearheaded that whole thing, and his excitement, his passion for that is what drove that. That said, once he did that, getting the kinds of people involved that Rob did, and then seeing the embracement of that by a lot of the players as well that obviously participated in that, I got a chance obviously to participate with Brody.
You won, didn't you?
Brody won, and I came along for the ride,
yeah,
so that's kind of how it went.
You won. You carried Brody is how I remember
I don't know if it was quite that way. But no, it was a lot of fun, and being able to raise that kind of money for as many charities as we did, many that are ultimate based, like Eric and Ultimate Peace and others that are doing just great things, not only in around our league but around the world. So being able to be part of that and sharing in that and helping was just a lot of fun for all of us, and we were kind of glad to be able to do it.
As we wrap it up, anything else that you would like to share with the fans out there who are hoping for the best of the AUDL? Can you share anything new about what's to come, or we're just enjoying the ride?
So, well, I don't know if I got anything specific to share. I will tell you that there's a lot coming. Certainly we've got a lot of growth plans, not only in terms of numbers, but meaning teams, but in terms of the way our league is going to look, how we're going to go about bringing this game, as you said earlier, to people that aren't part of the Ultimate community now. That's going to be a big part of our success. Things that we do not only in schools, which a lot of people have been doing tremendous jobs of, not only around our league, but in leagues and clubs and teams all over the nation. We're going to expand on a lot of that as well in ways that maybe people haven't seen before. And once we get a chance to do that, I'm hoping and I think that the people will respond very positively, and we'll see the audience of Ultimate grow.
Well, it's a privilege to be a part of it. He's the commissioner of the AUDL, Steve Gordon. Thank you for all your hard work. Thanks for bringing me aboard a few years ago. And it's hard to believe this is year 3 for me, and I hope to be along for year 33. 30
well, I'm
years
hoping we're
from
both
now.
around that long, so it might be tougher for me, but
yeah.
there we go.
The score at the half here in Raleigh, 13-7. Second half just a few minutes away. And while we wait, we want to show you some of the greatest plays from 2015 in the AUDL. The top play from every single week. We show it to you right now. If you want to follow the AUDL on your phone, now you can. Download the brand new AUDL app on your mobile device and get up-to-the-minute news on your favorite Pro Ultimate team. This is your new home for live scoring, up-to-date standings, game recaps, highlight videos, and more. It's the new best way to follow Ultimate at the highest level. Don't miss any of the thrilling hucks, towering skies, or monstrous layout Ds. Check out the free AUDL app today.
Imagine you're in a new town for a couple of days, and you find yourself wanting a bike. Use Spin Lister to rent any kind of bike in your area in over 55 countries. Have an unforgettable adventure while saving up to 40% on rentals. And whatever you do, don't forget to enjoy your ride. Rent a bike today or list your own to start making money and connecting with awesome people.
We are back and just about ready to begin the second half here at Cardinal Gibbons High School. I'm Evan Lepler, rejoined by former Raleigh Flyer and North Carolina Ultimate legend Taylor Pope. And Taylor, let's jump into some of these first half highlights. Obviously, the teams traded points early, but then the Raleigh D started making plays.
You love to see a guy that has a turnover get the D right back, and we saw that a couple times. That really sets the tone for the mindset of your team when your leadership is making plays and getting things back, and great positioning there by Noah Saul.
Charlotte has had several chances, but just hasn't been able to connect unless it's been Hood to Cisco. They connected 5 times in the first half. Jonathan Nethercutt certainly left his mark, and so did Justin Allen, making spectacular play one after another.
It is windy out there. It's hard to see sometimes because these throwers are so skilled, but when the wind's not blowing, they can throw these throws on a rope, and when you see them popping up and down and taking sudden dives, that means the wind is blowing, and that's contributed to a lot of Charlotte's problems, I think.
Well, Micah Hood, Andrew Cohen, and the rest of the Charlotte Express trying to figure out how to get back into this game. Micah Hood was a swimmer for most of his life. He was swimming year-round ever since he was about 6 years old. Thought he might pursue swimming at the scholarship varsity level in college, but decided to go to Appalachian State, played Ultimate instead. His older brother played at UNC, and he's been a gift to the Ultimate community with the athleticism and intensity he brings on a day-to-day basis.
Just a great player, too, and just a really well-grounded individual, recently married, and I know him and his wife are really enjoying being newlyweds and living it up.
So the team's getting ready to begin this second half, about 30 seconds away from the pull. Raleigh will receive to start the second half. Anything jump out at you in terms of adjustments, X's and O's wise, from either side?
Charlotte's got to limit the shots they're taking. Raleigh has proven that they are too quick picking up the deep ball. I know that Charlotte's had success taking it deep on Raleigh a couple times, but that's not the recipe for them to win. They need to slow the game down and really ground and pound some of these unders. And
be more conservative is the message.
Get the disc close.
For the Raleigh Flyers, who were one of the highest scoring teams in the league last year, Raleigh won the first quarter 6-3. They won the second quarter 7-4. And these two teams played 4 times a year ago. Raleigh won by 12, by 9, and then by 3 in each of the last 2 meetings. Charlotte last year going 2-12, but 8 of their 14 games decided by 3 scores or less. So it was mostly one heartbreaker after another for Charlotte, and they were very confident coming into this game, thinking that they've built up the culture and that they have brought in a few new players. They thought that the size that they brought in terms of Colicchio and Pope and McSherry and Weeks could really help make a difference. So far through 2 quarters of play, looks like the same Charlotte. We'll see how the second half unfolds. Dave Snoke, didn't talk about him too much. He's a guy that can quietly impact the game just because he doesn't make mistakes.
He's steady. He's a very steady player, and there's his classic inside flick throw. He's been throwing that since his days at NC State back in 2002.
Snoke was a varsity soccer player at NC State, then started playing Ultimate, and Jeff Nordgren comes up with a D on the upline backhand from Casey.
That's just a high stall count throw from Brian Casey trying to take a shot.
And their high stall count saved by Minch.
Justin Allen almost getting that D. That's the recipe for Charlotte. Work the disc side to side. They just haven't been having the cuts.
Minch looking to the end zone, and it's there. Not in the end zone yet. Fairfax, and they call a receiver travel, so that'll nullify the goal. They'll have to back it up 10 yards.
And I know Charlotte is trying to get Polk involved. I'd like to see him play deep and have Charlotte really try some zone looks. It might slow Raleigh down just a little bit.
On a windy night, you never know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's the first break of the game for the Charlotte Express. That's how they needed to start the second half, back within 5.
And you see a little bit of energy, a little bit of perkiness from the Charlotte team. Hopefully they can transition this into a little bit of a run and get this game close, a little bit more exciting. So far it's been all Raleigh Flyers.
Bookends for Nordgren. The D on one end and the score on the other. Stone picks up his first assist.
Raleigh traditionally so good at the third and fourth quarter, just laying it on opponents, really being able to kind of run away from games in that third quarter. Charlotte getting off to a good start, nullifying that first score, getting a break. That's what they needed to do.
Can they string a few breaks together? Mason Gardner unleashes the pull.
Let's see if Charlotte does a different look here. They are slow to get down the pull.
Snoke to Saul.
They are playing some sort of shell zone here. Mason has the deep.
Lynn hits Dieter. Look for Mitchell. It was defended. So Saul reverses for Snoke.
And you see how just moving the disc side to side really makes a difference.
Lynn to Mitchell, just out of his reach. And an opportunity here for the Express.
You almost wonder if Terrence might have got that if he had gone with his left hand, but he tried to reach it with his right and just a little bit outside.
Funny, Mitchell was so involved with everything Raleigh did last year that it's hard to remember that he's just a kid. Terrence Mitchell just turned 20 years old.
I remember looking at my Facebook feed not too long ago, and there was a memory that popped up seeing him, and he must have been in middle school at the time. He's really grown up, and he's such a great kid and a great teammate.
Long shot from Cooper.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mason grabs that.
Mitchell comes up with a D. How did Mitchell fit in with all the veterans as a 19-year-old last year?
He's very soft-spoken, and he's just like I said, he's just a really good kid.
Oh,
and
perfect shot there from Allen to Saul. When it released, I wasn't sure it was going to get there, but it hung up and found the intended target for Raleigh's first score of the half.
I don't think that's how Justin Allen intended that throw to come out, but effective nonetheless. Definitely didn't let the wind contribute to the flight of that disc.
I interrupted your thought about Mitchell.
I just think that, he's such a great kid, and he's been around Ultimate, and, I know he was mentored a lot by Josh Green, a local Ultimate guy, and, you hang around good people long enough. I know he's got a great family situation, and, he's just, when you have all those things going for you, it just produces a really good kid, and that's what he is, and he could fit in with anybody.
How about that throw from Allen?
Well, you heard me. Not as I think he drew it up, but effective nonetheless.
Charlotte's first offensive point of the second half. Minch resets for Stone.
And And I'll tell you, it's easy when things aren't working for you to get into this mindset that you need to make things happen. You need to play hero ball. But right now, Charlotte just needs to use their whole team, and they're doing it on this point. They're working it up patiently. They need some good unders. They're going to get them. Oh, just an unlucky. That went off the face of Evan Howie for Jeff Nordgren.
And to think Howie actually trimmed his beard the other day. Now Howie hasn't shaved his beard since, I think, the end of the season last year.
But that's the mentality that Charlotte needs to have. They need to work it up. They need to slow this game down just a little bit. I know they're down, but they can inch back in here if they just get, use their opportunities.
Saul looking for Clark. Another beautiful shot from Noah Saul, making it look easy for the Raleigh Flyers.
You wouldn't know it, but while David Richardson had, I think, the fastest 40 time at the Raleigh Combine last year, Brian Clark had the fastest 70 time. Blazing speed on that guy. He's the kind of guy, too, that, you just love to be around. Great personality, and he can make some highlight level Ds, as he did, I think, in our season opener last year. He came out with one of the critical Ds that turned the game around. Unfortunately for him, he broke both of his thumbs on the play and had to sit out most of the season.
Brian Clark, the fastest 70-yard sprint at the first Flyers Combine last year. You realize that I had slightly tweaked my hamstring that day, so I didn't put the burners on. I wanted to give Clark a chance to finish first.
I'll try to think of my excuse here in the next couple minutes.
15-8, and another pole sails too far. You don't see that very often in the AUDL. About 8 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
It's going to be hard for Charlotte here. They tried to work it up and just had an unfortunate, kiss off of the Evan Howie's beard. And it's going to be hard for them to play conservative. And there you go.
Weeks not thinking conservatively, but it works out here, finding Workmeister. Workmeister threads the needle. Muniz with the goal, and Charlotte strikes quickly in less than 30 seconds. You played Club Ultimate with Weeks for several years. What does he add to the Express?
He's crafty. He has been playing Old Man Ultimate since he was 18 years old.
What do you mean by Old Man Ultimate?
Well,
lazy defense and just throwing it deep?
No, he's a great defender, but he takes advantage of all the things that young guys don't often do. He cuts when you're not looking. He uses head fakes. He's using all of the things that, quite frankly, for a guy who, doesn't appear to be as athletic as he actually is, he maximizes his athleticism by using all of those little crafty no-looks and fakes that not only get his throws open on the mark, but gets him open, and that's what you're going to see from him.
Might have been an offsides call.
This is inside flick. He will throw that thing at a moment's notice.
Offsides on the pull was, in fact, the ruling.
Looks like Raleigh's trying to isolate Dieter over there in the far corner.
Another cut at midfield. Creates space with his pivot nicely. He sets for Snoke. And that throw stays up. Mark Lynn saved it.
I'm not sure that disc was up. That looked like that bounced into his hands. The ref may have had a bad angle.
Well, that disc certainly down. Mitchell looking for Snoke.
Call that the karma play.
Sure. Disc never lies, right? And Charlotte gives it right back. Well, Courtney Dellinger, the head coach of the Express, actually saw the game from the referee's perch last year as an AUDL official, moving from the black and white stripes to the head coaching position. He said he'll know all the mistakes that the referees make.
It's a human element to the game, right? Can't get too uptight either way. Some of them are going to go your way, some the other. You just got to know that they're trying to do the best they can, and they do a great job.
Up the line and into the end zone. Mark Lynn with a score. Dieter picks up the assist.
So time and time again, Charlotte getting the opportunities, getting the disc on defense, and yet not able to capitalize. Raleigh has not played a clean offensive game, lots of turnovers, which you think, if you had thought about that before the game, you would have thought this game would be a lot closer. Unfortunately for Charlotte, it's not.
Lynn just barely keeping it alive. If we can see it, watch Dieter's release here. Is this a travel?
No, he had that left foot down. He steps out so good. I don't think that was a travel there.
16-9, Raleigh by 7. Want to go back to the point about the referees. You, I think, have a reputation of being a physical player. Was there sort of a let's wait and see how the referees are going to call the game to see how physical I can be? Was that something in the back of your mind at the start of every game?
Every game. You want to test the boundaries because you want to play as hard as you can without hurting your team. And you see teams adjust. You see players adjust. All of a sudden they start pivoting into you, expecting the foul. I don't think I made very good adjustments in the beginning of the season, but toward the end, it was easy to figure out that, when you needed to back off and, when you could play a little bit more aggressive.
Disc kept alive on the bobble. Fairfax to Stone. Midway through the third quarter here at Cardinal Gibbons High School, the Flyers by 7 in the AUDL opener.
Frankly, too, without a foul out component of the game, having a foul at with a big field doesn't necessarily hurt.
Nice catch there by Jeff Nordgren in the end zone for the Express.
I'm just saying, it doesn't necessarily hurt your team, but when you get down inside the 20-yard line and that disc gets centered on the goal line, it's devastating. So I think that there's a little bit of a mentality of play a little bit more aggressive in the big field, but when it gets in tight, you definitely want to back off a step.
Jeff Nordgren with a score, and Charlie Muniz just picked up his first assist of the season. He led the Express with 39 assists a year ago.
Jeff Nordgren, a great example of a guy that Charlotte needs to get involved. Some spectacular highlight level Ds. I think we had one on the top 10 from him. He is an incredible athlete, and they're going to get the opportunities. They just need to punch it in when they do. Let's see if they can get one of those two guys involved.
You're talking about Nordgren's layout D on one of the first throws of a possession last year against Raleigh. Asked Jeff about that yesterday. He says he still remembers it vividly. And coming down, he usually picks up the first guy, but instead this time he was picking up the first throw, and he threw his body out there to make the play.
It was
one out of bounds.
He was shot out of a cannon on that D.
Nethercutt double teamed. Impervious to it. Casey to Lynn. Good give and go there by Casey.
They need to stop the bleeding on, and there we go. Now the D can settle in just a little bit.
Casey to Dieter, who's got hands like glue. To the end zone, and a nice poach D there. Nordgren knocked it away.
There you go. And you see Charlotte playing a little bit behind in the open field. They got to front when it gets in tight there.
Double team to the corner of the end zone. Charlotte gets it free. Bode plays it short and safe.
And you see Bode look off Nordgren there to get it to Cisco. I think they need to build a little bit more trust in each person.
Well, this time it's Bode looking long. The disc floated. There was certainly contact, and it will be called on Lynn. Mason Gardner was the member of the Express going deep, and even though he misread it,
I think the call there was due to the fact that Mason would have had a second chance at the play.
Yep.
But instead, he just got, kind of taken out by Lynn. Not malicious foul, not intentional, but just, still a foul.
Bode picks up the assist. Nordgren, another goal.
And there we go. We call that bookends, right?
Back-to-back scores.
And he gets the D and he gets the goal. So good for him. And that's what Charlotte needs. And look, all of a sudden we have a 5-point game. Charlotte clawing their way back into this game and really kind of taking away that third quarter momentum away from Raleigh, which they are so akin to having. And you see some arms crossed on the Raleigh sideline. You see some, unfortunately, just not excellent body language. And you look across the way, and Charlotte, they get throwing high fives around, raising the hands up in the air, really excited. This game could turn around here in the waning moments of the third quarter.
There's the foul that led to the goal line possession. And Bode hitting Nordgren for his second bookends point of the game. The score at one end after making the play on defense previously.
And that's the situation, if he's got gas, leave him in. If he can keep going, you want to feed that monster.
Got one of the top Mohawks in Ultimate, too. Deep shot here. It hangs up, and the defense of Jakeem Polk gets there for Charlotte.
And it looks like he baited that throw. Let Jonathan Nethercutt throw that disc up into the wind. You saw it just bounce a couple times, and Polk was there to finally get the D. We never give up on the discs. That was something I learned in my first my first couple practices of Ultimate back at Ohio Wesleyan University for the Fire Dogs, is never give up on the disc.
Yeah, if you're a freshman and you don't hustle to the disc, you're not going to play very much, no matter how good you are.
Critical point for Charlotte. They need to slow this ball down. Let their team advance up the field just a little bit. Work it with the handlers.
There was contact downfield, and Jarrett Bowen does not contest the call. He hit John Stone near the front of the stack.
You see Fairfax and Polk just kind of hanging out in the back of the stack there.
There's Polk from the back. Not a highly skilled thrower, but that was a nice reset.
Don't tell him that. That was a great inside flick look.
Spoke too soon. Charlotte's not done yet tonight.
And they are feeling the energy.
That's 3 straight for the Express.
And this is a tough time for the Raleigh D-line. They're sitting on the sidelines. They've built this big lead, and here we go. The offense has given up a couple breaks, taken a couple shots, really just given the disc to Charlotte. And kudos to them for bringing it back in.
Here's the D from Polk.
I think Noah Saul thought he was all alone on that look.
And it was really Polk's reset with the bullet inside flick that triggered this offensive surge. Stone into the hands of Howie for the score. So all of a sudden, a 7-goal gap is down to 4. What are the Flyers thinking right now?
Just punch one in, work it down. Don't give them the disc. Make them have to earn their D.
Nethercutt, Snoke, Lamar, Lynn, Allen, Mitchell, and Casey.
And look at that disc float. Huge space cut by Terrence. Great cut. Not a bad throw by Snoke, but it just got hung up in the air. That's the look they wanted, but here we go. Charlotte's got the momentum.
Ooh.
And they need cuts. They are stagnant in their stack, not moving. These handlers are just getting pushed back.
Bode and Cooper playing catch. To Gardner.
They're not getting a ton of separation on their unders. I think that great inside break.
They have timeouts to use. They don't want them, and they're within 3 as Bode hits Kelly in the end zone.
Beautiful backhand by Bode. took his time, and that's what you haven't seen from Charlotte. You haven't seen them just step into their throws and make those nice touch throws into the wind. It's great to see them kind of getting into their groove and really making those passes. Not without a bobble, but still making it happen.
Matt Bode really doing the heavy lifting as a handler on that point. And look at the reaction from the Charlotte sideline.
Really surprised that Mike D has the offense going back out on the field again. You know, I think he's trying to make a statement like, we trust you guys, we want you guys to succeed, and he's letting them have it. He's going to ride them until this game gets a little bit closer. But you see the D guys on the sideline. You see Bender and Jake Coleman warming up their throws, staying ready, staying loose. But honestly, if you look at the body language, it is hard to tell who is winning this game. Raleigh with their hands crossed, hands on the sidelines.
Well, this is a trick out of the DeNardis playbook. The short roller pull to the sideline. Raleigh gets to Saul, and now to the reverse sideline, it's Allen.
And look at Polk just kind of hanging out back there, ready for them to put one up to him.
And that disc stayed up. No, it did not, said the referee.
I don't think he had it. I think he might have got it off the skip. And there's Shane Cisco.
Cisco versus two members of the Flyers, and it's defended by Bowen. Make it Saul, rather. Charlotte on a 4-0 run to get back within 3. Now this is in the air for Allen. Nordgren nearby. Allen with a one hand hauls it in.
And that's a good recipe for success. Throw it to Justin Allen. He's going to come down with it. Great play by him. And you see Charlotte within 3, disc in their hands. And what do? They throw one 50 yards into double coverage. They want that one back.
It's a good point. Here's the shot earlier. No, clearly Bowen did not make that catch, even though he tried to sell it as best he could. He'll enjoy watching that highlight sometime later this week. And in the end zone, Allen versus Nordgren. So close.
Yeah, and great body awareness for Justin Allen. You know, I know he wants to go up with his right hand there and waited, and actually went up with his left, which is kind of rare for him. Great catch by him.
So an interesting thing to note here, Taylor. Charlotte will receive to start the fourth quarter. They have an opportunity to score at the end of the third and to start the fourth and transform a 4-score game into a 2-score game if they time it right.
Good patience by Matt Bode, not throwing that deep ball. That's what you need. Micah needs to get it back.
That horizontal reset.
Yep. 26 seconds in Ultimate is an eternity. They have plenty of time.
Oh, and a drop.
Very unlucky.
Slipped through the hands of Workmeister.
They need to not allow a score here.
They throw it up. Richardson nearby. He misjudged it.
And they need to move. They have an opportunity here.
Charlotte is going to burn a timeout.
They wasted 4 to 5 valuable seconds there before calling that timeout.
On the scoreboard here, 3.7 remaining in the quarter. We'll take a quick timeout and see how much time is left in the quarter. Charlotte will have one chance to try to close this quarter with a score when we come back. Raleigh by 4 here in the AUDL opener. Here we go. They've added a few seconds on the clock. 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And Charlotte has to go the length of the field. Do you like that timeout right there?
I do. And keep in mind, the disc does not, I I don't think that the clock starts until the disc
is released.
So they could potentially get a swing and then still throw. So, where they are on the goal line, if they are on the goal line, yes, it looks like they're going to be on the goal line. That is a very, very long throw.
There's Jakeem Polk, who maxed out Charlotte's vertical jump at the combine. They couldn't measure it because he could jump too high.
Yeah, funny story. They had it at the top, and he jumped, and then they said, raise it up a little higher, and he nailed that too.
Micah Hood saw him do that. He told Courtney Dellinger, the head coach, sign him. Don't worry about anything else. Just sign him. And Jakeem has kind of been Micah's pet project over the course of the last couple of months. Micah was telling me at practice last weekend, he just said, Jakeem, you're matching up on me and trying to isolate him in space. Here we go. Through the double team, up the line, off the hands of Hood. And now McAllister gets it off, but a whistle blew before the throw. An incredible layout catch. But I think a timeout was called from the Flyers sideline.
Yeah, that would have counted. I think Mike D called the timeout right on the drop, wanted to get his O-line in there for one shot look at the end zone.
Oh, it was a tremendous grab in the end zone, I think from Sittler. Look at this.
The fans are not happy about that.
It's a shame that didn't count. When you're a coach and you can make that timeout call from the sideline, you got to pick your spots. Otherwise, your D-line is not going to be happy with you. So now they've added 2 seconds onto the stadium clock. 3 seconds total for Nethercutt and the Raleigh offense.
If I'm Charlotte, I am putting maybe two guys on the mark, and everyone else is in the end zone. And I'm watching for that hammer throw.
We know that Nethercutt can put it where he wants.
Look at this lineup too. They got Justin Allen, Hunter Taylor, and Terrence Mitchell. They are definitely looking to put this disc in the air.
Dieter and Hunter Taylor as well.
I'm thinking hammer to the back corner.
Now Saul, as the swing is wide open, uncovered. But can they get it to him and then make another throw? And Nethercutt lost the disc.
Put it up.
Bode, I don't believe he got it off. Maybe he did. Howie in the end zone.
I think that should count. Well.
Referees certainly have not singled for a goal.
I think they're going to talk about it.
I don't think Bode got it off, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you got to think the time starts when Nethercutt releases it. The disc falls directly out of his hand into the ground. Bode could potentially pick it up and get it off. He did fake one time, so maybe that was enough time to let time expire. They're going to talk it over.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter. A 12-minute segment won by the Express. Charlotte outscores Raleigh 6-4 in the third. They trail by 4 as we take the turn for home. Can the Express come back, or will Raleigh reign again in the South Division? 17-13 as we head to the fourth quarter on ESPN3.
Early recognition is critical. Teaches middle school PE classes about ultimate Frisbee and cancer symptom awareness.
We're a registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a Frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We teach kids that playing fair is more important than winning.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
Ultimate Frisbee is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Teachers and parents love Ultimate Frisbee.
We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
Fourth quarter about to begin here at Cardinal Gibbons High School. Courtney Dellinger's Express down by 6 at the half. Storm back, got within 3. Justin Allen Sky over Nordgren turned out to be the final score of the quarter, and that was big because Charlotte will receive to start this fourth. And Raleigh trying to cling to their lead.
And I think Charlotte is happy with that quarter, but realizes that they really had an opportunity to turn this game around. Still, the energy is on their side. I'm still not seeing excellent body language from Raleigh. I think that they're happy with where they're at, but Charlotte is going to be itching to take back control of this game, or actually take control of this game. Let's see what they come out with.
Charlotte on offense.
Oh, there goes Polk.
Primarily the D line out there for Charlotte. And they turn it over, and it's gotten right back.
Great
sneaking in, Jacob Fairfax. Nordgren contacted by Green. He'll march off the 10-yard penalty. 5 yards from the front of the end zone. Lefty backhand for Stone to the end zone.
That's a strip.
It looked like it, and it is ruled, and that should be a goal. Yep. The strip in the end zone counts for the score. It happened in just 39 seconds, and the Express are within 3 again.
Taylor Minch with that huck. He had Polk open, but unfortunately there was another cutter hanging out in that deep look, and Raleigh's there to capitalize. Need to get your eyes up and make sure that that guy is really open. I know it's probably hard to not release one when you see that guy streaking deep.
Howie gets credit for the goal. Another product of Appalachian State.
Another rock climber. I know he works at a Triangle Rock Climbing Club. He's an incredible athlete.
He looks like a mountaineer. All right, Raleigh on offense, up by 3. The clock cannot tick fast enough for the Flyers. And that's a turnover.
And who is it?
Jeff Nordgren is having himself an incredible night on national television. With the stall count rising, the throw is intercepted. Casey centers to Neve. Mitchell. Dieter. Casey, a big slash cut, wasn't there. Dieter swings it for another cut. Bullet up the field, out of the reach of Bowen.
You mentioned that slash cut by Casey. Number one, an excellent cut. Could have been open, but what did he do? He cleared out that space for the swing pass. Just a great cut from your handler. He is working hard out there. Charlotte needs to capitalize on this.
If Charlotte scores, then all of a sudden they're within 2 with about 10 minutes or so to go. And it's anybody's game.
He just looked off Mason Gardner there to throw.
Oh, it was D'd up by Allen, and it fell into the grasp of Nordgren. Unmarked, he lets it fly to the end zone, through the hands, and a whistle, and a contact. Referees staring at each other. It'll be pass interference on Nethercutt.
I don't like that foul. I think that was a drop.
Kalikio.
There may have been some contact there, but he should have had that.
Kalikio, a restart possession. And a quick shot into the end zone to make it a 2-score game. McSherry the goal. 17-15, Charlotte back within a pair. And we'll take another look at the call in the end zone, and you at home can be the judge.
And I think Flyers and Express having some words there after that. I know Nethercutt wanted him to take that foul back. Once again, that integrity rule, so hard to implement.
Let's see. How much contact was there?
Yeah, his hand on his back, yeah. Whether it caused him to drop the disc or not, he definitely contacted him before the disc got there, so I can see CJ's point.
By the letter of the law, there was contact there before the disc arrived.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. Good catch by the refs.
And, you know, only one ref made the call because only one of those refs could see the contact on the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
So Nordgren with his 4th goal of the second half.
And how many Ds? 2?
Too many
3?
to count. At least 3 or 4.
He's having a game, and you see that is what you need. In the first quarter, you have Micah and Shane really stepping up for Charlotte, and now Jeff Nordgren having his contribution felt.
Clearly, Raleigh has made the adjustment to slow down Hood and Cisco a little bit, but other guys, if you said, have stepped up. Guys like Nordgren and Fairfax and Bode.
And this is a junk look by Charlotte. They are allowing them to have those easy unders, those easy swings. They're sitting one guy back and just hoping that they take a shot. And there it is.
Polk bids, makes the play, but they call him for pass interference.
I do not like that call. He had the inside track, touched the disc before the contact.
Muniz went over to say, great play, don't be discouraged. Just a taste of the athleticism from the former college football corner at Wingate University, Division II school just outside of Charlotte. Jakeem Polk in his AUDL debut making an impression. After the foul, it's Lamar hitting Lynn in the end zone to make it a 3-score game again.
I know Polk isn't very excited about that call. I think he felt like he got it clean. Definitely there was contact, but you know, if there's contact after you get the D, you should be okay with it. Oh my goodness. What an athletic play. That is a top 10 level D right there. Ugh.
Absurd.
Absurd.
So Raleigh catches a break.
When I'm playing against a guy like that, I'm just hoping I can slide my body in front of him before he lays out past me.
Sittler lets it fly.
Those are the opportunities that you have to have if you're Charlotte. Let's see what they can do here, if they can keep pace with Raleigh. And you see here, they're sitting D-Rich deep.
Cisco looking long.
And there's D-Rich.
Howie hauls it in. That's a score. Cisco to Howie.
You don't see Cisco throwing many a deep ball, but when he does, he has a pretty good percentage.
It's the first assist for Cisco after scoring 5 goals in the first half.
And once again, you look at Charlotte. They are amped. They're throwing high fives.
Well, talking to the leadership of this team, they were just excited about the energy that they had in practices leading up to the season. A positive, team-based. They expect to surprise people and contend for a playoff spot in the Southern Division, which is not going to be easy considering how strong this division looks to be.
And I know Coach Dellinger, you know, he mentioned that they're really a family, and that's how they're approaching it this year. You know, last year they had a lot of organizational stress, just getting everything going. But this year he says that they are very much a family, you know, maybe with Ed Fox as their patriarch. And, you know, they're just excited for, you know, the opportunity to focus on training and personnel instead of the logistical organizational demands.
Snoken, Nethercutt play catch. Allen, Dieter, Lynn, Casey, and Bowen cutting downfield.
And once again, you look, they're just setting Polk
looking
deep,
for Bowen against Polk.
Look at that closing speed. Wow.
And Jakeem Polk made that look as easy as could be. Jared Bowen's not slow. I mean, you can testify to that.
He's not slow. But he didn't really have a chance there. That throw hung up and, gave Polk, who got a late read on it, the opportunity to get that D.
Charlotte looking to get back within one.
Now's a great time for Charlotte to burn one.
They look deep. They've got an open man. Reset to McSherry. Last time it was a one-score game was when it was 3-2, and McSherry makes a major mistake.
And they got a guy streaking.
Looking for Nethercutt. Mason Gardner trying to play catch-up. Gardner makes the play.
Today's his birthday. There's a little birthday D there.
A guy who specializes in harassing handlers, but that time making the leaping defensive play on the deep shot.
Both teams very disorganized here. Charlotte needs to capitalize. They need this point bad.
I think your point about the timeout was a good one. Maybe they don't need one. It's Gardner. Eric Olson.
They like to have the disc in his hands. Very solid. Couple dump swings here. They could have a goal.
McSherry sneaks it through to Olson, who sneaks it through
Sam Cooper.
to Cooper. Charlotte's on the doorstep, floating it up high. Allen nearby, but it's Colicchio who makes the leaping catch.
Spikes it. Very close proximity to Allen. Allen's not going to like that. I would not want to be on the receiving end of the next huck that's going Allen's way.
Well, Colicchio was a member of the Raleigh Flyers last year, played in 4 games, had 4 goals. Here's the D from Polk. The different type of athlete.
Left no room for chance there, hitting it with both hands.
Well, what do you think of these shots? I mean, we're seeing somewhat reckless shots from the Flyers.
Late in the game, especially these early games, you'd like to think that everyone is in mid-season form, but you can get very tired, and I think you're starting to see a little bit of fatigue set in. They're not really playing very hard defense on the turns. Guys are open underneath. This is the time when Charlotte can really take this game away if on their next turn they can move the disc down the field effectively.
Real quick, you think Colicchio deserved an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty there?
I don't like the spike, but I can understand him being excited to score a point against his former team.
To bring him back within 1.
I'm not too big on unsportsmanlike conduct. Fouls, that is.
Allen in the handler set.
And that's a good no-look there to Neve. Neve open on his cut, but they're holding back, wanting a better shot. And it's going to be hard for them to look off Hunter Taylor here.
They do. Underneath for Mitchell instead, marked by Howie. Lamar over to Nethercutt. Allen peeled off his cut. Crossfield shot gets there. Nethercutt to Taylor to put Raleigh back up by 2.
And that's bound to happen eventually. That's a pretty big mismatch. Taylor Minch on Hunter Taylor. They're going to find a way to get him the disc. He's just too big and too powerful. I'd like to see Charlotte with Polk back out on the field. You almost want to just ride in this last 5 minutes of the game, Polk and Norgren, as much as you can.
Hunter Taylor has that G.I. Joe look to him.
Captain America.
Yes, indeed. So Nethercutt, another smooth hammer. 5:16 to go. Raleigh by 2. Flyers led by 3 at the end of 1, by 6 at the half. Charlotte got a couple scores back and was only down 4 at the end of 3.
Hammers are a staple of Raleigh Ultimate. You look back at guys like Augie Kervinis, Tim Brooks, throwing hammers all the time.
Charlotte turns it over quickly. Chance for the Flyers D-line.
They need to front here.
And Mike Denardis doesn't want to give the D-line too long of an opportunity. Timeout called, and Raleigh's offense will retake the field. We'll take the break too. The Flyers clinging to a 2-point game. This has turned out to be a pretty good one here for the season opener. We'll be back in just a moment. The Charlotte Express have trailed by as many as 7 here in the second half. Got back to within 1 at 18-17, but Raleigh scored last. And a quick turn on the ensuing point gives Nethercutt the disc again out of the timeout.
You get the feeling like this is Charlotte's game to win and Raleigh's game to lose.
No stall on the mark because Bode was playing 5 yards off Saul.
They have, looks like they have Munez hanging out deep. I think they need to be fronting here.
Crossfield hanging up, Saul able to haul it in. Raleigh's looking to score, obviously, but content to play conservative and bleed time from the clock.
Yeah.
Or not. How about that shot from Dave Snoke?
I was just about to say, you leave that disc in his hands long enough, he is going to find someone.
Nethercutt the goal, but the story was Snoke and his pinpoint hammer. Raleigh by 3.
That's another example of Nethercutt, right? Just making kind of eking into the backfield. You saw him do that in the first quarter where he was seemingly unmarked for an open goal, another hammer that is, and there it is again.
Just drifting away from the play, and Dave Snoke, even when he's marked tightly by 1 or 2 good defenders, able to get it over the top.
Dave Snoke, part of an excellent NC State Ultimate program. Played with guys like Chris Hinkle, really legends of the sport.
Well,
Chris Bass.
He joined NC State the year after they won the national title in '99, snapping UC Santa Barbara's 3-year reign atop the UCSB Black Tide. Had won it 96, 97, 98. Was going for their 4th championship in a row when NC State knocked him off 16-14 in Boulder, Colorado. Snoke, who was one of the best soccer players in the ACC at NC State, he said Ultimate wasn't big enough then that the coaches didn't really know how competitive it was. As Raleigh comes up with another D.
Great heads-up play by Jake Coleman.
Quickly picked up by Green, shooting it to the end zone on target. Brian Clark with a goal, and Raleigh pulling away, back up by 4.
And finally some energy from the Raleigh sideline, and you know what? That's what happens when you get your D out there making a nice play, and when the D scores, all of a sudden it's energy time.
Here's the D. Coleman on the handler defense.
You know, you like to see he's got that left hand out there, and then as soon as the disc comes by, he's ready to hit it with the right. Or maybe vice versa.
Green, the quick pickup and hitting Clark. Clark played just 5 games for the Flyers last year. Another product of Maryland, St. Mary's, Maryland, and grew up in Greensboro.
I know for a fact Jake Coleman has been working hard in this offseason. He has been in the gym, hitting the kettlebells, doing some good Turkish get-ups, and it's paying off.
Charlotte looking flustered now.
Yeah.
Sittler intercepted the pass.
The wheels are off here. How is that not a stall?
And it was close. Saul set his feet, found Bender. And you can sense that Charlotte, which expended so much energy getting back within one, is not leave enough in the tank to complete the comeback.
I say it again, it's not for a lack of opportunities too. They had the disc, you know, I think it got to be a 1-point game. They had the disc and, you know, they weren't able to convert. They had the disc on the goal line, turned over a pretty wide open swing pass. You know, they punched that in and this could be a totally different game. That said, 3 minutes is an eternity with the stoppage plays that we have here. So with the ability to score in very little time, they could get back in this game if they have some breaks go their way.
The deficit is 5 as Bender gets ready to pull. Raleigh Flyers open the season with 3 straight games at home. They play Jacksonville here next Saturday. That game will be at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, about 5-10 minutes from where we're standing here at Cardinal Gibbons. And there certainly will be a good deal of emotion in that game, the first rematch since the Southern Division title game last year when Raleigh knocked off Jacksonville in double overtime. ESPN3 crew next week will be out in the Bay Area for the first Western Division showdown between Seattle and San Francisco of the new season. That's next Saturday night from Laney College in Oakland. Less than 3 minutes to go here. Minch sensing it, takes a shot. 1-on-2, and Nordgren make it Howie, did all he could.
And I don't like that look. You know, it's obvious there's 2 defenders in the vicinity of his cutter. Yes, it's Jeff Nordgren, but
it's Evan Howie, rather, and Howie's calling for an injury as he hobbles off the field.
Hard for us sometimes to discern those bearded guys, right?
Yes. Hopefully just a cramp.
Yeah, hard to tell what he injured there. He's got a hand on his back and a hand on his hamstring. I wouldn't be surprised if Raleigh just wound out the clock right now.
Another cut to Green. Looking deep. Another cut. Had it go right off his chest.
That is a tough grab to make. You're sprinting forward, and the disc comes in. You got to grab it with the offhand.
I think there was a foul on the mark on the throw. The disc is going to go all the way back to Green. Raleigh hosting Jacksonville next week, and then the Flyers will host the Austin Soul. Austin making its AUDL debut, easy for me to say, in Dallas tonight as the Roughnecks take the field for the first time in AUDL action.
I think everyone's got an eye on Texas to see what kind of teams that they produce.
In that game tonight, the Roughnecks led 7-3 at the end of the first quarter and took an 18-9 lead at the half. So Dallas, as many expected, looking pretty good in its first AUDL game. There's Taylor Minch in the end zone, makes it a 4-score game. But the bad news for the Express, only a minute 21 remaining.
They lost a lot of clock on that possession.
So Taylor Minch out of Georgia College and State, where he went to 3 consecutive Division III national championships. One final from the South Division tonight, the Atlanta Hustle taking care of business against the Nashville NightWatch, 26-16. Atlanta starts 1-0 for the first time. They lost their opener to the Flyers
They sure
a year
did.
ago.
I think Atlanta's flying under the radar this year. You know, the Atlanta Ultimate scene is an incredible community, and they have produced talent in the club division year after year. Last year, no different. They just had a couple games. They were just a couple games out of making the playoffs.
Oh, just out of the reach of Dieter there in the end zone.
And no one's talking about him this year.
Well, one team that people haven't talked about in a positive light for a very long time got a victory tonight. For the first time in exactly 1,000 days, the Detroit Mechanix have won, taking down Cincinnati 15-12. Congratulations to team owner and new coach Brent Steep and the Detroit Mechanix.
Probably feels good to get the monkey wrench off their back.
I think they were playing in some snow tonight in Cincinnati. Final seconds here in North Carolina, and it's Tommy Lamar in the end zone.
I like that both teams are continuing to take shots at the end zone, continuing to play this game until the final seconds. I think had it been closer, you'd have seen one team kind of eke out the clock. Just one major difference of the AUDL is the ability, when 5 minutes are left, you could seemingly possess the disc for a long time with just a small lead.
So 12.5 seconds remaining as the Flyers lead by 5. Take a step back for a moment. What did Charlotte show you tonight, and what did Raleigh show you tonight?
Well, we'll start with Charlotte. I think that they showed that they have a tremendous amount of athleticism, an incredible upgraded roster from what they had last year. I think they also showed that, you know, they could have been in this game, but they were not really disciplined enough to take the game away when they had the opportunities. And on the Flyers side, I think you see that once again their roster is stacked with talent, but they are susceptible to emotional lapses. They're susceptible to runs by the other team, and if they're not on top of their energy, if they're not feeling it, they can find themselves in a deficit or blowing a big lead pretty quickly.
Well, a game that certainly was closer than the final score indicated. The Charlotte Express scored 4 out of the first 5 points here in the fourth quarter to get back within 1. But after it was an 18-17 score with 6:04 remaining, Raleigh finishes in a 5-1 run to pull it out by a 23-18 final.
You got to wonder what would have happened if that D by Polk had been not called a foul and they had gotten that goal, or if on the subsequent turnover when they had it on the goal line, if they had been able to put that one in, might have been a different game. But kudos to Raleigh for pulling it out even when the game got close.
Who, in your opinion, was Raleigh's MVP tonight?
Raleigh's MVP. That's tough.
Well, we're going to look at some of the highlights now, and maybe that'll sway your opinion. I'll give you a few candidates. Justin Allen made several spectacular plays in the air. Jonathan Nethercutt was pretty good with the disc. Jeff Nordgren, if you're picking a Charlotte MVP, might be up there too.
I think you'd probably have to give it to Justin Allen. He made some incredible plays. You know, when his team needed it, when they weren't playing very good, he definitely made some spectacular grabs. So I think you could give it to Justin Allen.
What do you think of Jakeem Polk tonight?
Love to see his play. You know, I think every time he touched the disc, he was able to get a nice, easy reset. It'll be interesting to see as Charlotte advances through the season how they're able to utilize him in different ways.
Shane Cisco had a really strong first half. Raleigh's defense didn't shut him down completely, but neutralized him a little bit more in the second half. And Brian Clark made a few plays as well, utilizing his speed. So the Charlotte Express falls short in the AUDL opener, a 5-goal setback here at Cardinal Gibbons High School. And we welcome you back into the booth for the final time. Evan Lepler with Taylor Pope. How'd you feel up here tonight, buddy?
This was a great experience, you know. Being next to the voice of Ultimate definitely helps. You're a real professional, and I really enjoyed working with you.
Well, the journey has just begun. We'll be back here at Cardinal Gibbons High School at the end of the month for the Raleigh Flyers and the Dallas Roughnecks, two teams that both look like they're going to begin 1-0. Dallas a 9-score lead at the half against Austin. And this Raleigh team with a bit of a chip on its shoulder. We talked about it off the top. They're the defending champs, yet everyone views them as the underdog, and that's a unique dynamic.
They definitely feel like they have something to prove. I think that their loss in San Francisco last year is haunting them, because they not only did they lose the game, but they really didn't play to the level that they had been the whole season. And I think that's nothing short of getting back to that stage and having opportunity to redeem themselves is going to be a success for them.
Well, the journey has just started. Next Saturday, we'll be out in the Bay Area of California for the San Francisco FlameThrowers and the Seattle Cascades. Looking forward to that one and being alongside Chuck Kindred again out at Laney College next Saturday night. Great to have you with us for this AUDL opener. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but we still had fun. The final score, Raleigh 23, Charlotte 18. For our entire Fulcrum Media crew and for my broadcast partner who did an unbelievably great job in his debut, Taylor Pope, I'm Evan Lepler saying so long from Raleigh. Flyers get the win here in the AUDL opener on ESPN3. We'll talk to you again next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.